this one of your flavors?
Love all the vibes. The blue vibe, the cosmic vibes of the various colors.
You like the Celsius cosmic vibe?
I do. They have a little like...
I usually don't like any of the ones that are sparkling.
Oh, I don't like sparkling drinks in general. Like, I'm not a champagne person or anything like that, but I like the cosmic vibe.
Because I'm usually ripping one of these on the berries treadmill. Mm-hmm. So when it's sparkling, it's like it's getting shaken up inside of me.
Drinking on a treadmill is crazy. Anything besides water.
No, I'm getting my juice. I'm getting my... This is my fuel. They're saying their low barrier to entry on the treadmill is like 7, 8, 9. Do you know what it's like to run a 7 as like your slow pace?
No.
And then they're like, 9 is the slowest sprint. I feel like I'm going to fly off the treadmill.
Why are you doing that?
Because I'm trying to keep the calories down and the body trim.
Yeah, so I had him turn down the air conditioner, or turn on the air conditioner Our engineer, because I know you get hot in here and I just want you to be very comfortable.
Thank you. And also, it's like doing something for my brain right now, which is already feeling like it's tickled. I am, for the first time, completely sober on this mic.
Hallelujah!
Amazing. I just felt like...
Won't he do it? Won't he do it?
I just thought with the topics in play today, once we're talking about the hellscape that is our country and a woman's life being taken away, I was like, should I be lit up for that?
No. I do think, though, too, that being constantly baked can affect your dopamine and, like, make you sadder.
For sure, but I don't smoke that often. I only really smoke or like take like a little hit before usually coming on because it does something with my brain. I feel like I work a little bit faster when I'm high. I don't know. You speak to me the most. I think that sometimes my thoughts aren't as clear when I'm sober.
I don't often know the difference.
Well, that's nice.
I can tell when you're high, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's been a tickle in my brain.
Okay.
And I'm like, I think it might be the 10 milligrams of Prozac or just the placebo effect of things are going to be getting better.
Yes.
And the tickle is continuing right here, right now, because I love a soft ambient noise. When this room feels stale, so does my energy sometimes.
Oh, I like that little 1-to-1. Well, I was thinking on the way over here because I was driving and I don't have air conditioning on in my car if I'm alone. I hate air conditioning.
Really?
I hate the feel of artificial air blowing on my skin. I hate it. Love a fan.
You would hate my car then because I love the air conditioning.
It's very American. I'm anti-American, or un-American, I should say, in a couple of ways. I do not like air conditioning, and I hate ice water.
Interesting. Yeah, those were the hardest things for me to get over when I lived in Italy.
This is what people say when they go to Europe. They're like, you can't even get an iced coffee. You can't even get an ice water. There's no air conditioning. And I'm like, well, everywhere I've stayed has had air conditioning, to be fair. But like, I don't know.
In Italy, when I lived in Trastevere, like, which is like really in the heart of Rome, you could not find an iced coffee unless you went to an American type place. Like the little cafes that are on every corner where you're getting like a cappuccino or like a shot of espresso. Like there's a thing called a Cafe Freddo, which is like their version of an iced coffee, but it's like so odd. It's like slushy like, and it's usually in a shot glass, but you weren't getting like your venti filled with ice, gay on the run, like just like swishing it around.
You should go back in 2026 because in Spain, you could get iced coffee everywhere, like the American big gulp sized ice. I think that people are now catering to Americans.
Well, Greece was the best of them because they have historically had an iced frappe, which is incredible. But yeah, I love some ambient noise, especially coming from an air conditioner.
Yeah, when I sleep, I can't sleep in silence. Like I have on Spotify, I have my rain noises that I put on a loop so it just plays for the 8 hours that I'm asleep or whatever. But I'm really, really particular about my rain noises. And last night I tried a new rain noise and fell right asleep. But then in the middle of the night, I woke up because like, I don't know if you've noticed, but when you sleep I don't know if you sleep on your side, but if you lay...
I do, and it fucks up your face.
I know, it's supposed to cause wrinkles. I don't care as much about that stuff as you do. But you get different, it creates a pressure on your ears, so you hear different aspects. It's almost like you can hear the subliminal things that are happening on the fucking rain noise. So in the middle of the night, I'm waking up and I'm like, what is that noise? I could hear like a high pitched noise. Then I would lay on my back. I couldn't hear it. Lay on my side. I could hear it. It was like I could hear a different frequency in the rain sounds. I said, I got to go back to my OG rain sounds.
What was your aphantasia? I mean, your what is it called that Cynthia Erivo has?
Synesthesia.
Your synesthesia. What colors were you seeing?
I don't see synesthesia I don't have colors with my rain noises.
I was so stressed recently that for the first time ever, I had like TMJ, and at night I just like unhinged my jaw and it was making the wildest noise.
I have that.
And this week I've been drugging myself to sleep. I've been taking ZQuil, taking like a CBD THC sleep gummy, and then taking 2 Advil, knocked out the past 2 nights. And I think that that's also contributing to the buzz in my brain.
That's probably true. I mean, and also getting good sleep.
Getting good sleep
will really like help your mood.
I felt like the Victoria Radcliffe on The White Lotus, like truly just lights out.
And then you wake up and you're like, I love life. What are you talking about?
You know who's loving life today?
Who?
All the girlies whose panties are dropping on their Instagram stories sharing that Harry Styles is releasing a new album.
Oh.
And he's doing a stint at Madison Square Garden.
Oh my gosh, was that announced today?
Yeah, the Madison Square Garden thing I think was announced maybe 24 hours prior to him officially announcing the new album today.
Wow.
And he hasn't had an album in quite some time. So it's exciting. It's called Kiss All the Time, Disco Occasionally, which is so sexy and fun and so Harry.
That's such a fun title.
Kiss All the Time, Disco Occasionally. He's just like, that is the energy we need.
And I love disco. I would love to disco occasionally.
Also, I just was thinking I wanted to share with you. I think I just need to give bitch more. Like that was something I want to...
More?
But I also want to give Jacob Elordi, which I feel like those things are in conflict with
They
one
are
another.
diametrically opposed.
But what I really am giving, I think, is Big Bird.
What?
Sometimes I'm just like, Bryan, like, you look like a Muppet.
You do not look like a Muppet. You're very tall, like Big Bird. Very tall. You don't have his hair. That's more of the Julia Garner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that was a recent thought recently. And also, I just wanted to share before we dive into things. I saw The Housemaid last night.
Okay.
Oh my God.
It's good?
It is. This was my review on Letterboxd. Camp. For the girls. For the fucking girls. And if he wants 100 hairs, he can have them. Damn, he's fine.
Okay. Well, I told you on a previous episode that one of our coworkers said that she really liked it and that she was pleasantly surprised that she wasn't annoyed by Sydney Sweeney.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised by the Sydney Sweeney of it all as well. At first, I was like, okay, so it kind of flips the thriller narrative on its head. Like, you have to go see it with a crowd because it's slightly comedic. It's with the director Paul Feig, who did...
Oh, yeah. He did Bridesmaids. He did that movie that we...
The Anna Kendrick,
Yes.
A Simple Favor.
A Simple Favor.
So he's a director who usually does comedy. So it's like... kind of playing on this idea, which we talked about last week, these thrillers get crazier and crazier and crazier. And he's kind of doing like a playful nod to like, this is all so of the genre, wink, wink, wink. Isn't this hilarious that like, this is a turn and this is a turn and this is a turn?
Would you consider A Simple Favor a comedy?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, I'll take a little bit.
Yeah, like I think that too is in the realm of what he did with The Housemaid, where it's like it's poking fun at tropes within the genre of a thriller.
I love that.
Yeah,
That's very playful.
it's very playful.
Yeah, okay. I guess I'll give it a chance. I am very turned off by Sydney Sweeney. I was turned off by Sydney Sweeney before the jeans thing. I just never really got the appeal, but beyond the boobs, to be honest. I did enjoy that movie that she did with the guy that looks like a capybara, but
Love him, Glenn Powell, and
you knew who I was talking about.
He owns it. He owns it. He says that's the thing he gets the most out in the world.
Really?
That he's a capybara.
Oh,
and
interesting.
he's owning it.
I mean, he really really does favor that animal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see him at the Golden Globes?
I did.
I thought he looked cute with
You
his
like
long
his hair?
Yeah.
Okay.
I liked his long hair. But you know what I liked more? The celebrities who were willing to say something on the red carpet.
Period.
About what's happening in this country.
Well, I sent you a little Instagram of Mark Ruffalo. Like, they pulled him aside and they were like, what's up with your pen? And he like went on this, rant. He went on I don't want to call it a rant, but he spoke up. He was like, it's disgusting what's going on in Minneapolis. And I sent you the thing and I said, I take back everything I ever said about this man because I always say that he has like dumb face and I don't get it. But I get it. I get it.
He has always been one of the most outspoken celebrities. And it's really interesting in this time that we're in because the event was largely apolitical, the Golden Globes.
Yeah.
And it's a huge stage. And I didn't understand why no one was seemingly using their platform to speak out against what is currently happening in this country. And I think that for me, I think there's a belief that like celebrities don't have to get involved, yada, 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 this, that, or the other thing. And I'm like, art is a mirror to what's happening in society.
Agreed.
These are artists with a platform. That is what Hollywood, exemplifies. Mm-hmm. It's that you are an artist that has made it to a point within a summit, or Hollywood exemplifies that you as an artist have a major platform, mm-hmm. right? And I think that it is your responsibility as a person who's trying to draw on human emotions to point out that human emotions are being preyed on right now. I think it's really interesting because a few years ago at the Golden Globes, Meryl Streep won the Cecil B. DeMille Award, which is usually like a lifetime achievement. And she talked about how Hollywood is crawling with foreigners. And this was in 2017. And she was talking about the importance of performance and how performance can oftentimes shift perspective. And she said, but there was one performance this year that stunned me. This is 2017. It sank its hooks in my heart. Not because it was good. There was nothing good about it, but it was effective and it did its job. It made its intended audience laugh and show their teeth. It was that moment when the person asking to sit in the most respected seat in our country imitated a disabled reporter, someone he outranked in privilege, power, and the capacity to fight back. It kind of broke my heart when I saw it, and I still can't get it out of my head because it wasn't in a movie. It was real life. And this instinct to humiliate, when it's modeled by someone in the public platform, by someone powerful, it filters down into everybody's life because it kind of gives permission for the other person to do the same thing. Disrespect invites disrespect. Violence incites violence. And when the powerful use their position to bully others, we all lose. Which leads me to ask, how is this being said in 2017 and there's silence now?
Well, and the irony is that this same weekend that this happens, Trump mocked Joe Biden and did like a cancer voice. Joe Biden is being treated for cancer right now. And, people used to say, like, even if you don't respect the man, you have to respect the office. The man in office doesn't respect the man nor the office. He doesn't respect anyone. I agree with you. I think that if these people have such a platform to move the needle, to move people's hearts and minds, that's literally what they're paid to do when they're in characters, to move hearts and minds. And you said something earlier. You said that some people believe that artists don't have to speak up. There are people who believe artists shouldn't speak up. I've time and again, I've seen, comments where people are like, whether you're an actor or an athlete, that you should just shut up and dribble or shut up and do your job, right? And this is not what we want from you. You're an actor, do your job. And I disagree wholeheartedly.
we're all in this together.
Yes.
Every single person on this planet, we're all being affected by what's happening both domestically, globally, and we all have to be looking out for one another. So if you have a greater position in life to have a platform that then can reach thousands or millions or tens of millions, you have to use it responsibly.
Yeah. When we were texting the night of the Golden Globes, when you said that you wanted more from the host, was this one of the things you were talking about?
Yeah, I mean, I thought that Nikki Glaser did a fine job. I think that she is obviously funny. And I mean, she called out certain things, you know, as far as like CBS being BS News. She called out the Epstein of it all. But those felt really surface level to me in terms of where we are at currently. This was after Renee Good had been shot and killed. And, you know, some celebrities, and not the majority, I would say, had Be Good pins and Ice Out pins, like Tessa Thompson and Jean Smart and Mark Ruffalo. And I think that signaling sure is a good start, and a lot of those people with said pins didn't reach the stage. So they were doing what they could while they were on the red carpet, but the people who did have a chance to reach the stage that night, I felt like it was crumbs.
Yeah, I just feel like at a time like this, every single speech should be saying something about the time that we're living in. I mean,
we're also coming off of Hollywood having, you know, produced and celebrated movies like Oppenheimer, which warn against what another world war would look like. Catastrophic. The whole point of coming out of World War II and having a United Nations and bringing people together and NATO and all of these things that were born out of trying to create some global sanctions on safety, you know, they were meant to protect us from ever repeating history the way that it feels like it's, you know, unfolding right now. And as a generation that grew up, you know, being inundated with World War II literature and Holocaust lit, I'm just like, what is the irony right now that like this situation where especially Israel as a state, like that was born out of creating a safe haven for Jews who were persecuted during World War II and the colonization of that land. Now a genocide's happening at the hands of a state that was essentially built for not necessarily the safety of Jews, I think, from a United States perspective. It was to create an army in the Middle East to protect their interests. This is why every Israeli has to serve in the military and be enlisted. Like, Israel as a country, as a state, comes with all of these conditions placed on them by the United States in order to safeguard what their interests are in the Middle East. And I think we also have to be reminded, like, when the United States got involved in World War II, they had known, it had been reported in the newspapers, concentration camps, Jews being carted off to these work camps. We didn't get involved in that regard alone. We got involved after Pearl Harbor.
Exactly.
And this is where I think we really need to hone in on the nuances of history to say, what are we doing that looks so similar to what has happened before? And it's all of what I just previously mentioned.
Yeah. I mean, but in this case, we are the largest aggressor. You know, we have begun, much like Nazi Germany, to go after certain people in our own society who someone, in this case Trump, Stephen Miller, Steve Bannon, have decided are not welcome in this country. And just like the saying that came out of World War II and Nazi Germany about first they came for so-and-so and then they came for so-and-so, and then it gets to you and no one could speak up for you because you were all that was left, right? That's where we are, I feel. You know, we have Trump and his cronies going after people who are immigrants, people who are either here illegally, people who are here legally on some type of temporary or permanent status.
Also, I just want to say, what does he even, my friend was like, oh, something about it, like illegals, because that's the terminology. I'm like, I hate that. Why would personhood be illegal?
Because
it's just like, let's just call it an immigrant.
Well, because
and most of us are immigrants.
Because this is what they do to take away personhood. And it's not even they use it as like a noun. It's like they're an illegal, right? It's so disgusting. It's so disgusting. And he is using the same rhetoric that Hitler used, calling people scum, calling people vermin. It came out this week that he has ordered all Somalis who are here on some type of, who are not citizens, basically. They're here legally, but they have a status that is not full citizenship, to get out of the country by March. What are we doing? There are 3,000 Somalis here, 3,000 people here. What are we doing? It is clearly targeted. We've seen videos where it is clearly profiling. I watched a video yesterday where a Latino with an accent said, why are you asking me for my ID? And the ICE agent says, you have an accent. And the guy goes, you have an accent. We all have accents. Like, we're clearly going in a direction that could have been stopped a long time ago by one, not voting this man into office. But Congress is doing absolutely nothing. Then we have
That's what I'm saying about like Hollywood. Like, Hollywood's not saying anything, and our politicians aren't saying anything, and the news isn't able to call it out for what it is. Then who's saying anything at all? No one.
The only way I'm even learning about half of the things is citizen journalism. People in Minneapolis reporting on what's happening in real time. I mean, just yesterday, for the first time in my life, I've heard a big time news agency, it was PBS NewsHour, call Trump's actions racist. For the first time in my life. I'm in my 40s.
Well, it was interesting even after the Renee Good incident, because online for the first time, I saw headlines where it said killed.
Yeah.
Even Fox News wrote killed.
Which is,
she was killed.
This goes back to what we were talking about last week around the meaning of words. Like, one of the worst things that's happened online is we have to speak in euphemism, unalived. No, this woman was murdered. She was executed. And there's just so many levels to what we're feeling. So there's what's happening in Minneapolis. But before that, we had what happened in Venezuela with Maduro, where he was kidnapped, him and his wife, and brought to the U.S. And we also have running in the background the fact that Trump has said he's taking Greenland. And he is so for real about this. We now have countries having to have like meetings and referendums, and they're planning on what the hell do we do if this crazy man comes in and tries to take a sovereign nation? I mean, I don't understand the appeal of Trump. I've never understood the appeal of Trump. Like, people are like, oh, a charismatic leader. I don't see the charisma. That's neither here nor there. But I'm just like, why is no one doing anything?
I have no idea. And it just feels like we're inching towards a catastrophe. And I really think about a lot of times, which is so silly, but those bumper stickers that say coexist?
Yeah,
and it's like
with
with
a
all,
peace sign.
It's with all of the religions. I'm just like, when are people going to wake up to the fact that like we're all here? We might not know why we're all here. We all have to find some purpose and comfort in being here. Mm-hmm. There are resources on this planet that we all need access to in order to survive. There are people who have far too many resources. Mm-hmm. There are people like Elon Musk, and I'll always bring it up, who have $600+ billion, or that's their net worth, and there's only 8 billion of us. Doesn't make sense.
He's going to be the first trillionaire.
I'm just like, why is the message not, we're all here, we all need to survive? That might look radically different for those who have too much, and might look really great for those who have too little. To say, what does it look like in any given year to say you can only take so many flights, or you can only log so many miles in a car, or you can only use this much water? Because this is what it all boils down to.
Absolutely. But the billionaire class and the people who support them always want more. They have more than enough. This planet has more than enough. We have enough.
Well, I brought in a quote earlier from Meryl Streep, and my context in life is oftentimes informed by art. My barber, who is a Mexican American, served in the military, was born here, lesbian, love her down. She was telling me that she was going to go on a run after she did like cut my hair the other day with her weighted vest. And I was like, be careful. Your imagery tatted up, being a Mexican American, being a woman out on these streets. I know it's Los Angeles and we're trying to have each other's backs, but like this is escalating to a point where we don't know if people are just going to be snatched. But, and she was like, I hear you. She wanted to share this clip from Sacha Baron Cohen from The Dictator. And in character, he says, why are you guys so anti-dictators? Imagine if America was a dictatorship. You could let 1% of the people have all the nation's wealth. You could help your rich friends get richer by cutting their taxes and bailing them out when they gamble and lose. You could ignore the needs of the poor for healthcare and education. Your media would appear free but would secretly be controlled by one person and his family. You could wiretap phones. You could torture foreign prisoners. You could have rigged elections. You could lie about why you go to war. You could fill your prisons with one particular racial group and no one would complain. You could use the media to scare the people into supporting policies that are against their interests.
And that's who we are. And that's exactly who we are. You know, when I was about 19 years old, 20 years old, and I had my first interracial relationship in the year 2000. So the guy that I was dating was like adamant with this belief that he's like, you know, racism will eventually die out. It'll die out with old people. And it's this idea that felt kind of like rational to me at the time that like, oh, that's an old idea that like old people have and that, you know, eventually it won't exist anymore. And I know we give boomers like a ton of shit and it's mostly deserved, but
these Proud Boys who are young are even scarier than them.
Exactly. Millennials, JD Vance is a millennial. Josh Hawley is a millennial. Nick Fuentes is a Gen Zer. Clavicular is a Gen Zer. Like, this doesn't go away. There's something, we can get into like psychology of this at another time. Because even going back to World War II, people have done studies on, are people kind of, is it nurture or nature to be like authoritarian, leaning? There is something where people who strive to coexist and there are certain people who strive to differentiate themselves from others, and they will find any means to do that, whether that's race, sexuality, gender, whatever. And my example of that is Stephen Miller. He's been like this his whole life. Like there's video of him when he was in college. He's always been a dick, first of all.
I just don't understand the individualist approach.
I think that there has to be like some self-hatred almost. I don't know. It's like, you know, people always are like making jokes about like, oh, dude didn't get any coochie when he was young and therefore he's like this. Okay, well, he's married with expecting his fourth child. Like he's clearly getting some coochie. Like what's going on inside of here that causes a person who had family members who escaped and died during the Holocaust to be like this? I don't understand. Why would somebody like JD Vance, whose family lived and grew up in Appalachia, poor, uneducated, to then become an elite to hurt these people?
I literally don't have an answer besides to like go back to the miscongeniality of it all. And I'm not kidding. Like when they're asked their like what they want to do for the world and it's like world peace. Like I just don't understand why I know it sounds just dumb and simplified, but like why isn't the message like love and caring?
Do you think Republicans I see comments that say that they're happy with the direction that Trump, with the whole war on immigrants, that they're happy with this. But do you think that they're happy? Like, do you think that what's happening in the world right now fills them with joy.
I think as long as their pockets or their income is going up, then yes.
But I'm not even talking about the elites. I'm talking about the regular degulars.
No, I think that regular degulars, like even my family who is preyed upon, you know, in terms of them feeling as if, you know, it's having a common enemy that then is saying your life is going to get better if this common enemy is taken out.
Yeah, which we know is not true. And I guess they could always say, well, this common enemy's still here. So
Think about American exceptionalism and how high it was after 9/11 because everyone
had a common enemy. Yeah. I always say that if aliens came down on planet Earth, racism would go away because we'd have some species that doesn't even exist here trying to take us over. It's like, okay, now us humans have to band together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Humans are now one because now we really have a common enemy. But I guess the reason why I ask you if you think Republicans are happy is I feel like people who are leftists truly would be happy if all of the principles that we believe in became real. We actually be happy if people had health care, if people didn't have to worry about getting gunned down, if people had access to education, food, water, housing, all those things. I would be happy. But I feel like there's no enough carnage that can happen for people on the right to be happy.
Well, I think a lot of, you know, I've cut out a lot of people from my life this year. When I was back home in March, one of my friends, former friends, I was in her home. She was on a trip and she lived with a group of girls that I knew. And I had gone into her bedroom. Guess what I saw on her dresser? A hot pink sweatshirt. On that hot pink sweatshirt, there was a decal and it said, "Daddy's home." And it was Donald Trump standing in front of the White House. It was like, what the fuck? What is this? And they were like, yeah, I don't know why she bought that. And I'm like, well, she bought it because she clearly supports this man. I had no idea that she voted for this man, let alone was buying shit on TikTok shop, like a sweatshirt that says "Daddy's home." Never spoke to her again. Months later, she reaches out to me and I say, I'm good on having people like you in my life. There's nothing left to be said. Like in the months from January to March, people were already being ripped away. Our rights were being, queer people, LGBTQ people, any minority, all of our rights were starting to be stripped away. The Project 2025 was in full effect. I was like, you had this? Even if you had this, I said, even if you had this a week after the election, it would have been too late for me.
Yeah, but the fact that she was holding on to it.
And why I bring that up is you ask if these people are happy. She's someone who's her head is in the sand. Her best friend growing up, our collective best friend, is an Egyptian woman with Egyptian immigrant parents who are currently unable to work because of their health, who worked at Walmart their entire lives, their mom. And these people are being actively affected by this administration. This is your neighbor. This is your friend. This is your community. This is someone you consider family. Why are you voting against me? Why are you voting against them? You're apologizing now. Your words don't meet your actions.
Yeah, and what led you?
You're not actively speaking out against it.
Right. And I like your point is with her head being in the sand is like you don't want a friend who is actively voting against you, but also you don't want a friend who doesn't care enough to find out that this person is like that, like that Trump is like this, that he is actively putting in laws and practices that would hurt you or your Egyptian friend. Yeah, I'm with you.
And her as a woman, I'm just like, what don't you understand? Like, you're not voting for the greater good? What are you voting for? Probably her own pockets.
Yeah. I guess for me, there's no amount of money that's going to allow me to sleep at night when my neighbors are being stolen from their homes because of the color of their skin or because of the accent that they have.
I live in a 1-bedroom apartment, and I often think to myself, even though I complain and constantly say I need to get out of there because I want more sunlight, but the truth of the matter is I have all that I need and more, and that is, I really mean that. I tell my friends all the time, like, I don't buy a lot of shit. I really don't. Like, I'm not constantly, going and getting fast fashion or just constantly like swiping the card to acquire more goods. I'm like, we have everything we need and more. At least the people that I know intimately.
No, yeah,
I'm like,
for sure.
you have a winter jacket? That winter jacket probably can last you a lifetime.
Yeah.
Let's not constantly go out and feed this beast.
Yeah.
Because really this consumerism, this capitalism, it's what it's all tied to.
It's definitely a major part of the machine. I'm really scared for where we're going as a country. I said last week that I felt optimistic. I don't feel optimistic. I feel terrified. My 16-year-old son is sending me TikToks of other teenagers across the country being attacked by ICE, which in teenage terms, my son don't text me. He does not text me. For my son to send me a TikTok and this is his way of saying this is terrifying to him, And for me, the only thing that I can do as a Black American who's never really felt 100% like American because I'm a Black woman, I'm a Jew, I've never felt the allegiance that some people feel to this country. Honestly, as you know, I'm looking to get out. I'm going on a scouting trip to see if I can make a life somewhere else. And, I had to have this conversation with my ex-husband about this is the reason why I'm doing this. And I have no illusions about leaving my children behind. And this isn't a threat. I'm not trying to steal your children. But I just wanted it to be known. And, with having these conversations with my now husband and my ex-husband, they've both kind of been starting a life in another country is extremely hard. And I'm like, yeah, but do you understand that me in 2026, if I left this country today, I sell my house, I have, whatever equity I have in that house, I have savings, I have access to, even if I take a big hit on my 401k, I can tap that. I have means that people during the Holocaust didn't. People who had to flee and time their exit so that they weren't too late. And that's literally what I'm thinking about. I don't want to be hyperbolic, but I also don't want to be the Jew who gets left behind.
Well, also, look, no one is safe when a white woman just got shot with it being filmed in Minneapolis. And that's why we all have to be in this together and work stronger as a collective to really ring the alarm.
Yeah.
But, there are times to stay deeply connected to what is actually happening. We also need dopamine and serotonin hits of escapism in order to stay charged. I forget her name. She's a comedian. Asian woman with kind of the
bowl cut.
Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do.
She was just on, I think, Seth Meyers, and she was like, LA's ready to fight ICE. We get sleep. We have energy. New Yorkers, they're the city that never sleeps. In LA, we're in bed by 8 p.m. We're ready to fight. And when we're in bed by 8 p.m., oftentimes me and you are logging into our Netflix accounts.
Absolutely.
And this weekend, we plugged into someone who deserves a platform, Tessa Thompson.
Yes.
She had her buttons on.
She did.
She had her buttons on. And I don't see a lot of Tessa Thompson. I would argue that I could do with more Tessa Thompson in my life, especially after this series. But we started watching His and Her.
Yes.
Starring Tessa and John Bernthal.
Yes.
It's based on a book. It's kind of similar to the conversation of The Housemaid, as well as kind of your reading orbit as of late, which it's a thriller with crazier and crazier twists. It's about two estranged spouses. One is a detective. That's John Bernthal. He plays Jack. And the other is a news reporter, Anna, played by Tessa. And they vie to solve a murder in the town in which they grew up in, where both of them believes that the other might be a prime suspect.
Yes. Okay, so this is a book by Alice Feeney, who I found out about at the end of last year when I got into my thriller bag.
Okay.
When I finished the second Lisa Jewell book, I went to Reddit and I said, if I liked this book, what do I read next? And a number of Alice Feeney books were suggested.
They were published years ago, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ton of Alice Feeney books suggested. Didn't tap into the Alice Feeney universe as of yet, but this was a really fun show. I do have some critiques that we can talk about, but this was a really fun show.
Well, we love a journalism show.
Well, I love a journalism show, and I really like John Bernthal, who I learned yesterday does not believe in naps.
What do you mean?
Like,
what
he's passionate that real men do not
take
nap. And he's like so passionate about it. He's like, how I look as a grown man taking a nap. I mean, in the video, it looked like he needed a nap because he was like amped. But I love him. I feel like in real life, he must be a tiny, tiny man. But there's something very sexy about him.
There is something sexy about him. I didn't necessarily clock his teeth before. They're like they're kind of short.
Are they?
Yeah.
I didn't clock it. Is he from your neck of the woods?
Jersey. I think that he's probably tri-state area. I don't know where he's from.
Because he got a little bit of that Delco accent going on in some of the, like he says, door.
Interesting.
You say door.
This was placed outside of Atlanta.
Yes, Dahlonega. I didn't even know if that was a real place.
None of them really had accents, did they?
Like Southern accent?
Yeah.
No, he still had that Delco accent.
Yeah.
Tessa Thompson was not trying to do a fake Southern accent, I don't believe.
No.
The woman who, with the blonde hair, the other anchor woman.
Lexi.
I think that she may have had a little twang that she was doing. But yeah, this was set right outside of Atlanta. Beautiful scenery, a great thriller. What did you think of it overall without giving any spoilers? Or maybe we should do like...
I don't care about giving a spoiler.
We're going to be talking about the show, so...
What else are we going to talk about if we're not going to talk about...
Okay, fast forward if you haven't seen it.
I mean, really, all I want to talk about is the end.
Okay, let's talk about the premise of the show. So the woman who's a reporter, Tessa Thompson, she was married to John Bernthal, but they've gotten a divorce because clearly...
No, they haven't gotten a divorce.
Oh, they haven't gotten a divorce. They've split because you find out very, very early that something has happened to a child of theirs.
Yes.
Very, very early you find this out. You know that he's fucking around, she's fucking around.
Well, he started fucking around first.
Yes.
She wasn't fucking around. She was in like a postpartum depression.
Yes, but we don't know that because what we do see her is that she's like willing to fuck the cameraman early on. We don't learn like the order of things until a little bit later, but yeah.
She was a reporter on an Atlanta news station.
Yes, she was the star reporter.
She was the co-host of like a morning or nightly...
Like an anchor, yeah.
An anchor. She was the anchor. She's been out of her job for about a year. Mm-hmm. He used to be a detective working in Atlanta.
Yes.
After they lost their child, he moved back to their hometown, which is on the outskirts of Atlanta, in some suburb. I don't know what she's been doing besides being down bad and drinking.
Well,
and
she's
not
missing. You remember he can't, like the mother can't get in contact with her. He can't get in contact with her. She's off being down bad, but nobody knows where.
Yeah, that's a little silly. That part's a little silly.
There's a lot of silly parts to this.
There's a lot of silly parts to this because she's gone for what, over a year? Can't find her? I don't know about all that.
Yeah.
Her mama can't even contact her. And her mama's been going crazy. We don't... Supposedly. Anyways, she's like, this whole story is born out of a murder back in their small town, right? And she's not like a journalist who's saying, I'm fighting for the truth. She's fighting to get her job back.
She's fighting to get her shine. Like, she's like, I'm a star. I'm going to show y'all I'm a star. I'm getting my job back.
This white woman, Lexi, has replaced her as the major or like main anchor at the station.
Exactly.
So she's like, okay, I'm going to go back and be a field reporter in my small Atlanta town and cover this case about these murders.
But the big part that you haven't said yet is that the dead woman, her husband, John Bernthal, was the last person to see her and fuck her.
Yes.
Yes.
But we also find out that she was there that night, Tessa Thompson as Anna, watching him fuck her.
Exactly.
So who fucked who?
As the story is unveiled, you are led to believe that either one of them could have killed her. They both have motive to have killed her. Her husband has motive to have killed her. And then we later find out that there are women in her orbit that went to her all-girls school who have motive to have killed her.
Because the husband's motive to kill her is born out of the next day. As the main detective in this town, he's called to the crime site and doesn't let anyone know that he was just fucking her a mere 8 hours ago in that exact
Tessa Thompson's
location.
husband.
Yes.
Yes.
It's convoluted.
It's convoluted. If someone has read this book, like, I want to know if the book holds up better than the show, because there are a lot of kind of plot holes in the show. Like, one, there's no way that a detective, I mean, I don't see how this would have been cleared up by the book, but how would a detective who is one, like the brother to someone who's in this orbit, who is fucking this woman, that it's found out that he's having sex with this woman, that his wife has a connection to this woman. Why is he not forced to recuse himself from this case? Like, that's really weird.
Well, the thing that most people didn't know was that he was fucking the woman.
Yeah, they don't know that until later. But I don't know, like, that's really weird to me. I think that a lot of times, like, I had this problem with Task as well. I think that a lot of times these writers think that the audience is dumb. So they write things in a way that don't make sense in the real world, but make sense if you're a dummy. So do you remember when Priya is following the dead woman's husband and he like goes to a public dumpster?
And he throws his sex mask away.
Yes. Like, she was following him so closely. Like, okay. My other thing that bothered me was that
it's because content is made these days for people who are scrolling on their phones while watching a television show.
That's true, because then you look up and you're like, what happened? You need someone to tell you very explicitly what happened. Like, what detective is going to wear his own boots not only the night that he was having sex with this woman, but also like continue to wear these boots? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, you guys, you didn't catch that the mother had bare feet out in this mud. You didn't see a pair of bare feet footsteps. My biggest
now you're bringing the mother into the situation.
Well, as we're getting towards the end, there's a point where Tessa Thompson and Lexi's husband, played by Pablo Schreiber, they're kicked out of their hotel room and they have to find a place to go for the night.
And he's like, my family has a home nearby.
Okay, they are driving for a very long time.
Yes.
I'm like, why wouldn't Tessa Thompson just go to her mom's house? Her mom lives in this town. Why would you agree to go to this man's in-laws house when you already have beef with his wife? So they're going to her parents' home. Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
Well, he was like, you're going to come and Lexi wants to just clear the air with you. She's ready to turn a new leaf.
It just doesn't make sense. You got kicked out of your hotel. You know someone in town. Why wouldn't you just
walks into the home, starts looking at family portraits while they leave her be by herself, and realizes that Lexi, this woman who took her job that really started this whole tale, was one of the original girls in her friend group that has now all been murdered off.
Right. She's one of the girls who became part of the friend group later at the invitation of Tessa Thompson's character. She's like, maybe we should befriend her. And they treat her like shit.
Was it Tessa? No, I don't think Tessa Thompson said to bring Catherine in.
She did. They're sitting at the lunch table and they're like, oh, look at her. She must eat her feelings. They're like, oh, she must have a lot of feelings. And she goes, well, maybe she's just lonely. Maybe we should invite her over. And then they do. And they put piss in her Coke.
Who? The other girls?
The main mean girl.
Who's the first one murdered?
Yes. Puts piss in Catherine's Coke.
Okay, and the whole story, what you find out is that this friend group that existed at this private high school essentially orchestrated a date rape
scenario
on Tessa Thompson's 16th birthday, where Tessa Thompson ended up being raped by these men, and these women in her friend group recorded it and watched while it all unfolded.
But Catherine was the intended rapee.
And she escaped that night, and
because Tessa Thompson stepped in.
Intervened, and then didn't reciprocate the same amount of help. And what you come to find out is when she's back in this home with Lexi, who is basically the swan version of the ugly duckling we once knew as Catherine, wants revenge on Tessa Thompson for...
Now, this was my biggest gripe.
What?
I'm like, now why are you mad? This girl clearly rode for you. She was like, get off my friend, get off my friend. You saw that in the beginning. Then they turned on Tessa Thompson and began raping her. Now, why are you mad at her?
I didn't know why she was mad at her. I mean, yes, she fucked your husband, but
this is clearly not about that because she has picked off all the girls in this group for the rape thing. So this is clearly still tied
we were
to
led to believe that Catherine was the one raped. So then you think she's the one on this revenge tour.
Exactly.
Which she was set up as.
We're led to believe that Catherine is the one that's raped. And that she's seeking revenge for these girls in high school, setting her up to be raped. But what you find out at the very end of the last episode is that not only was she not the one who was raped, Tessa Thompson was the one who was raped. Her mother had a VHS of the ordeal
because she was watching all of these old VHS tapes that Tessa Thompson used to create and accumulate because she always had this dream of being a reporter and
being on the television
and would film herself doing like news segments.
Yes.
And because she was missing for a year, her mom was living vicariously
through these tapes. And the very last tape just happens to be the very last tape was a video of Tessa Thompson as a teen on her 16th birthday being raped by these men.
And then the final scene is Tessa Thompson reading this letter that her mom slips her and being like, a mother will do anything for her child, including... And then you get the rundown of everything that we've experienced in this series was at the hands of her mama.
Who was pretending to have dementia.
Walking around naked in the woods, killed the first woman with a knife, killed the next woman at the school, killed the third woman in her bathtub.
And was on her way to kill Lexi as well, but
was like, actually, she watched her own daughter get the shit beat out of her.
Yes.
From outside of Lexi's window.
A beautiful lake house.
And was like, you know what? I have faith. My daughter's got it.
But in the end, her daughter didn't have it because who had it was...
the sneaky detective.
Priya, who was uncovering things behind John Bernthal's back. And here was another thing that I have to nitpick. John Bernthal hit this woman in her face enough to knock her out, okay? She was woken up. He knocked her out. He got in his car.
He punched her in the face.
Got in his truck to go save his wife, who had called him and said, I need help. But somehow, Priya got there at the same time as John Bernthal. He comes through the door, shields his wife from being shot. There's no bullets in the gun.
She got there, a moment later.
Bryan, to the point where he jumps on Tessa Thompson, who's about to get shot, but she wasn't about to get shot because there were no bullets in the gun. But then Priya then shoots Lexi in the face. Moments after, I'm like, but the woman clearly he knocked her out. She was woken up by the other cops who got there.
Wait, and the craziest thing, her mom was like, no, I intended to kill all of those other women in your friend group. I didn't think that Lexi deserved to be killed. I just thought maybe she deserved to be framed for all of the crimes I committed.
Some jail time.
Because her fat ass left you. But you also find out that Lexi also killed her sister.
Yeah, that was crazy. Not only did she kill her sister, she sprayed out all of the inhaler medication. And it's
which was to show that Lexi had a evil vindictive side.
Yes.
And probably deserved to be shot in the face.
I don't know. I think it was supposed to show that it was supposed to lead you to believe that she did do all of these killings because when we're first hearing the letter, it's killing is easy once you've done it before or whatever. And the first time we hear that is when they're on the boat and the dog. Also, the sister just happens to have a asthma attack. So if your sister clearly the sister has asthma attacks often, maybe especially out in nature, why y'all getting on this boat? This is not good parenting.
Really? I mean, people with asthma have to live too.
I'm sorry.
People with asthma have to live. She had the inhaler.
I understand, but I guess what I'm saying is it felt like this is a common occurrence out in nature. I don't know. As a parent, that's not...
You're getting bogged down in her sister dying on the boat because she has asthma?
I am. As a parent, if I know that certain environments are going to cause asthma is really serious. Like to have my child have an asthma attack, I'm not going to put them in that situation. I'm sorry.
There's a lot of things to get bogged down on in this series.
The movie is silly.
It was all silly.
But people really liked those twists and turns. I personally, if you like this kind of thing, I would advise people to read the book Look Closer by David Ellis. It closes all of the loops. There's none of this like, and why? Because he does the work. And maybe the Alice Feeney book also does, but they have to make shows for, like you said, people who are scrolling.
Well, this is not the only show we're watching right now with murder.
Yes, we're also watching Traitors with a whole new cast of characters. And I have a lot of opinions, but like, let's talk about it.
Okay, well, I almost didn't watch this season. I spoiled it for myself by looking up who the Traitors were once the 3 episodes, because 3 episodes came out all at once, and I think we're now weekly. Once I realized that the Traitors were Candace from Real Housewives of Potomac, Lisa Rinna from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and Rob from Love Island, I was like, oh, they're going to be queening out. They're going to be queening out in this castle. Like, I am ready for this because there's never been 2 housewives together. And the last housewife that was a traitor was Phaedra, and she was such a delicious traitor.
Okay, so you're saying there have never been 2 housewives as traitors together.
Yes. Yes. And also in this cast, you have the people that interested me were like Portia, yet again, the Real Housewives in general.
They brought back Dorinda.
Who's kind of trying to, I think, be a fly on the wall.
Well, she got voted off very first person last time, so she's just happy to be there.
Yeah, she's not trying to repeat history. There was the Donna Kelce of it all as our secret traitor, which I just feel like she was thrown into the mix for the Taylor Swift viewership of it all.
Of course she was. Me and Evie called her as the secret traitor. We were like, she's giving America's mom the Taylor Swift of it all. Of course she's the secret traitor. Like, I actually was surprised that they were revealed her so soon, but I guess it wasn't revealed. It's because they found her.
Well, also people are saying online or speculating that it happened before. I think it was like going into the top of episode 3 that she was voted out, and usually roundtables happen at the end of an episode. So like we didn't even get to another challenge, and I think she wasn't cleared for the challenges because they're really physical.
Interesting. They definitely were bringing in the Kelce / Taylor Swift.
Yeah, but I thought that's such a cheap play on Traitors because it's so big already. I didn't think that they needed to do that.
Yeah, but you're always trying to go bigger. Always trying to go bigger.
Well, you know who needs to minimize themselves?
Yes, I do.
Michael fucking Rapaport.
He's the worst.
And I knew of him as being the worst because I watch Bravo. There was a time that Kenya Moore from Real Housewives of Atlanta cleared him on Watch What Happens Live because he was like, you're the villain. She's like, get this out of your head. This is my real life. Like, I am not a villain. And she was like, you need to stop acting like you're a housewife. And he was like, whatever. You just wish you were me. And she was like, what? An old fat white guy?
Well, if you're old enough to know where Michael Rapaport came into the zeitgeist, he was in a movie called Zebrahead when I was younger, and it was about a young Jewish white dude and a young black girl who get together, in their teens, and like the fallout between like the white people and the black people and stuff like that. Like that was the first time I'd ever heard of Michael Rapaport, but like he's since become extremely famous for being a loudmouth Zionist.
Have you seen the video of him getting hit with a snowball and someone's like, shut the fuck up in New
It's
York?
one of my favorite videos.
So good. Honestly, someone's going to basically throw the metaphorical snowball his way at the round table because they honestly don't even think he's a traitor. They just think that he's annoying and he's corrupting the gameplay with his loud mouth.
Yes.
And his comebacks are so stupid and weak when he was like, what did he say? Like, you're a doo-doo head? Like,
and like, he's like, I'm a New Yorker. Like, I know how to talk shit. It's like, no, actually you don't. And it's funny because like you said, like they're not even thinking he's a traitor. They just think he's a bad faithful. Like that's horrible.
It's the worst. But the saddest part of watching the first 3 episodes was Portia's gameplay.
Portia, like,
Portia.
why are you saying things that make people think that you're a traitor?
And this is what I would have said if I was sitting down listening to her say things like, I killed Ian. Girl, you didn't kill Ian. You misspoke. And the reason she's misspeaking is she's a woman who once had to be informed that the Underground Railroad wasn't an actual railroad.
She should just be like, I'm not that bright, y'all.
That's all she needed to say is, I'm not that bright, y'all. And now she's on this press tour, and this always happens with the Traitors, and I don't understand it. I really don't understand it. She's like, I thought there was a sisterhood amongst the housewives. Like, Lisa Rinna betrayed me. Her lips betrayed me. And I'm just like, girl, it's a game.
Literally.
It's a game. You misspoke. Everyone got on your ass. She has to go with public consensus because she is a traitor.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Lisa Rinna's lips weren't talking for you.
She's playing the game. Lisa's just playing the game.
But I wish Portia was in there long enough for someone to say, don't make me call Portia.
Well, I felt bad for Ron Funches, or however you say his last name, because his instincts were right.
No, they weren't right.
She literally said what she said twice. She made two weird little comments, and he was like, I'm clocking this.
Also, that other guy who was from Big Brother, the other Rob, was too smart because when Candace started the conga line, he kept being like, there's a murder going to happen in plain sight. There's a murder that's going to happen in plain sight. No one else was on that wavelength.
Yeah.
And then he said to Candace, he goes, did you
start the conga line?
Essentially, Rob and Lisa had to make the murder happen in plain sight without consulting Candace because they couldn't pull her in without creating,
being suspicious.
Being suspicious. And luckily, they picked Rob as the man to kill.
Exactly. I'm sorry, that conga line was so cringe. Like, of all the things to be like, you know what we need is a good conga line. Like,
I've never been in any party situation where people were like, let's pull out the conga line.
I feel like that's very 1960s. Like, what are we doing?
But you want to know something? They all went for it.
People were gagged and gooped about doing that.
Did
conga
you see
line.
Donna Kelce in the front? She was doing her little two-step.
Well, because she's of the generation who would do a conga line.
She loved it. And even Rob, how he played it, he was like, they were like, Rob, join the conga line. He was like, no.
I'm not doing this. Yeah. Yeah, the show is really fun. The thing is like, I think that I like the show. I don't think I'm gonna stay till the end.
Why?
Just because I'm not a reality girly like that. Not a reality game girly. Like, tell me who won it then. That's all I need to know.
Okay, do you, with the cast in play and the current Traitors in play, who do you think is going to come out victorious at this point? Do you think it's going to be a Faithfuls game or a Traitors game? Because I think Rob could win it all.
Statistically, who wins?
First season was won by a Traitor. Second season was run by two Faithfuls, CT and I forget her name. Last season was won by Faithfuls, the Dylan Efron, the Gabby Windey of it all. And now we're in season 4.
I'm not really into any of the Traitors. Like, none of them speak to me.
Interesting. But do any of the Faithfuls speak to you?
No, but I do think that the male traitor, Rob, I think he's smart. I think that he's gonna last a long time.
Me too, because he's already someone people can't get a read on.
Yeah.
And I think that that's gonna just play into his favor the whole way through.
I do too. I think that that's the best way to play it. Like, I
could never be a traitor.
I don't think you could be a traitor.
Because I can't lie.
But I also think that, like, there are certain people like Phaedra, they draw so much attention to themselves, whether they're a traitor or a faithful, that, like, I think Candace might not last very long.
No, she's speaking too much.
Also, like,
she needs to take a page out of the shut the fuck up.
Yes. And she's clearly likes attention. She wears all those damn sailor costumes. Mm-hmm. Like, she likes the attention. And
she's a pageant girly.
She's a pageant girly. Candace with an I and an A.
And you want to know something about the Candace of it all? Candace is someone who I disliked so much on Real Housewives of Potomac for so many years. And there was this huge, like, fight between her and Monique. Do you know of this?
I do.
And now Monique is back because Candace is out.
Yeah.
And Candace is on Traitors. And it's like, I'm so happy to have Monique back. I'm so happy to have Candace here. So I think all is right in the world.
All right. Well, like I said, I might not tap in for the full season, but like I think I'm going to give it a couple more episodes. And I do think that Rob is my favorite to win.
And the sexiest in the castle.
Which is the most important thing.
The most important thing.